Thank you, Eitan, and 17 Newsmakers now joining us now to talk a little bit more about the certification process that's set to take place today beginning at 10 a.m. our time. Dr. Janine Craybill, an associate professor of political science at CSUB. Dr. Craybill, thanks for joining us. I just want to jump right in. We've been talking about it all morning. At least 13 Republican senators and dozens in the House of Representatives plan to object to this certification. What will those objections do? Can they change anything?
In theory, no, they're not going to be changing anything. And also, good morning and thanks for having me. Essentially, what it's going to do is just prolong the process of Congress certifying this vote. It is a procedural measure that members of the House of Representatives or the Senate can enact. But in terms of changing the outcome, there's not a likelihood for that. The way that the process works is essentially what Mike Pence, as the vice president, what his role in this constitutionally is to work with 4 tellers, one from each party per each chamber, so a Democrat and Republican from the Senate, a Democrat and Republican from the House of Representatives. And what he does in alphabetical order of the states is basically open the mail, open the certified sealed electoral votes of each state in alphabetical order. What it looks like is going to happen per these 12 to 13 members of Congress in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, you have folks that have stated that they're going to object. If they raise an objection, then the chambers go into a debate. And so that's what's going to elongate this process probably throughout the day, maybe into the evening. But the thing is an objection can be raised by any member of Congress on behalf of any state. But as long as there is a majority vote in either the chamber, that objection can be dismissed. And I'm fairly confident, as are other members of both the House of Representatives and the Senate, that they have clearly enough votes to override those objections. So this will be a procedural move, last-ditch effort for those who are very much supporting Donald Trump and the narrative that there may have been some falsification in the votes, which we know there's not any evidence of, and every court that has looked at this has struck down. But nonetheless, this is a procedure that members of Congress can invoke. Looks like they're going to do it, but I don't foresee it over changing the election results whatsoever.
Can you talk a little bit more about what Vice President Mike Pence's role is today? Because President Trump's been tweeting about him and his role a lot in the last few days and several times this morning. This morning, he called on Pence to act with, quote, extreme courage. He also tweeted in the past few days, the vice president has the power to reject fraudulently chosen electors. Can he do that? Can he reject some of these votes?
No, that is not what the Constitution outlines. That is an incorrect interpretation that current President Donald Trump has of this procedure. The role of the Vice President is to oversee this process. His role is largely symbolic. Mike Pence had a conversation with the President this week trying to explain that to him. He was briefed by the parliamentarian of the Senate who explained to him that role that he has. And then he was also advised by the Office of Legal Counsel, who affirmed what his role is. Mike Pence has informed the president of this. I'm not sure where the president is getting his misguided information that Michael Pence can overturn votes. That's not what's outlined in the process. I think that Mike Pence, in terms of the word courage, will act within accordance of the Constitution today and perform his role in working with the tellers and reading off the votes. That's frankly his role today.
Having Congress members object to the certification process is not unprecedented. We've seen it happen several times before. Have the results of a presidential election ever changed due to these objections?
No, not in any recent time. The last time that we saw an objection was in 2005, when actually a Democratic senator, then Senator Barbara Boxer, had an objection in regards to the state of Ohio and discussions that were going on with regards to voter suppression. But ultimately, because John Kerry conceded, that objection was dismissed.
Did we lose you there, Dr. Craybill? Sorry about that.
No, I stated it and then there was a pause. I didn't know if you had another question.
Thank you so no, I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and wrap up now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. We'll continue to watch how this plays out today. Definitely a moment in history. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.